officer that was assaulted and how they handled themselves. They could have took measures to protect themselves, it would have been a lot more severe, and they saved the person's life. So I want you to pass that word along.
I appreciate that, thank you very much.
That was good.
That is,
Good job.
yes, thank you.
Doing your job as usual.
I have nothing else.
Nothing for me.
Anyone have any questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve this report.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Move to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you folks very much.
Short Rec Commission, Mr. Marte.
Is this a good one?
Hey, Mark.
This report.
We're gonna do
Is
this
this a good one?
I guess this has the accurate information this time, I guess. All right, checking account balance is $21,314, plus there's still $5,000 additional in there that covers the donation for the bathroom stalls. If you look at that amount compared to a year's past, we're in pretty good shape. We have some expenses that have to come out of there. One is a $5,600 insurance bill. We still do not receive the amount that we owe Menlo for the time of the season. Ticket holders went over during those last few days. We're expecting that to be $2,000. And we're gonna have to take the sewer cleaning out of that, and also when we get around to leak detection comes out of that. But we sense that we'll end up the year positive with several $1,000s. First time in years I've had that. If you look back to our worst year, we were down 11 grand one year. And I give some credit to Suzanne, she helped out a lot.
She don't print money over there.
Pardon?
She doesn't print money over there.
Well, if that's what she's doing, we'll continue the police slap so we can talk.
Jeff, can I ask you about that sewer fund?
Yeah.
Why are we paying $1,000 for sewer fund?
All right, maybe I shorthanded it. The sewer pipe going out to the main in Washington has roots growing in
Okay.
right outside the building. We have it located to about a 20-foot strip, and we're guessing to dig that up, put a new pipe in there is $1,000.
Okay.
We don't know that. That's our
We're
guess.
anticipating.
We're anticipating. We know we're gonna pay something. It's not gonna be free.
Oh, wait,
Well, I was thinking, why wouldn't the municipal workers possibly do that?
Well, even if, well,
sounds like a problem's on our property.
oh, it's definitely on our property, but it's a plumbing issue. We talked about it at the board, and I,
Okay. Just a question to you.
yeah,
How old is it? Gotta be
well,
original.
42 years.
Yeah. So,
Roots are allowed to grow in it, yeah, 42 years old.
Sure. You're probably gonna find a lot more problems than just that, once you dig that up.
That's why we're all walking around like, yes, you're absolutely right, absolutely right. Now, bathroom stalls, we have a party tomorrow, a demolition party. Bob Strobel and Jim Miller and I are gonna take the stalls out, not put new ones in, take the stalls out. See what we're faced, power wash the area, see how the facilities are before we put anything new back in.
Okay.
So Jeff, if anybody wants to join us
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, you're more than welcome to come.
And just think about the last time you had an offer to take bathroom stalls out. That's a rare opportunity.
Would it help if the paper was there?
Where the hell's what?
If the newspaper was there?
If he has a hammer.
I bet they have a shovel picture in here.
We went front page on that one. All right, the projects that we have approved, of course, is the approximate $1,000 to clean that sewer out. The pump, impeller, and seal that really saved us by having a spare one on site last July when that went bad. The fence gate, the truck gate behind the filter houses, the posts are rusted off. You had to lift the gate up and open it. And we have a quote of $3,500. And the last one is the spray water added to the filter. The spray area has its own filter, its own cartridge for chlorine, and its own pump and its own reservoir. And there we sit with this huge half-million-gallon pool that has automated chlorination, and we got this orphan over here. So So we're finally gonna rip all that out and just take a simple pipe. Should have done it years ago. Because even the pump went bad. It's a home filter pool pump. A little, little third horsepower, half horsepower. It went bad about a year or two ago. We put a U hook in. Well, that's, fix that. Let's talk about the paint. I don't have it on here. You understand that we did get 10 5-gallon pails of paint worth $435 a piece. That's $4,350. And we decided that we are not going to do this on a volunteer basis at all. I'm going to create a big package, send it out, and we're going to get quotes. And of course, we're not going to do it now because we have leaf stains. So we're going to put ourselves back in jeopardy of rushing around like mad when the weather finally gets warm enough to paint. Is almost the time that you're getting close to the pool opening. But we're going to get it out this year, line somebody up, and see if we can get this thing done properly.
Very professional.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of money to it, just, how do you
I think
understand?
good business decision.
I support that, truly.
Okay, I'm glad you do, because next item on there is, we're requesting that the contribution by both the borough and the township go up to $15,000 next year. That's a $2,000 addition, and part of the reason for that is that we are going to indeed have a professional do the paint. That's gonna be a maintenance cost. That's not gonna be typical, but we have to get away from doing so much of this volunteer work. I think some of this volunteer work is not serving us well in the long term. And as you can see, the money that you gave us last year, $13,000 each, we handled it well. We came out with some money left over. We feel if you boost that $2,000 additional, we'll be able to not go back to the original thought. I know Jay thinks a long time ago, some of this money was to be allocated towards capital improvement.
It was. That's what the sole purpose of it was.
Positively, but that has absolutely long since gone away. We do have to hold close to about 300 season ticket holders. We were 292 last year.
You did a good job.
If that diminishes much below 292 or 300, then we have to take a whole new look at it. But I believe with that number, with a little bit more contribution, and of course, I don't have to tell you, Sellersville is easy would pump in 20 grand instead of 1350. They would easy go to 20 grand. But I'd like you to look at that based on the performance that we've done in the past, with the help of Suzanne.
Can I ask you a question regarding that payment?
Sure.
Why can't you use the money that we have in that 28,000 there for the payment?
Okay.
That's a capital improvement, no?
Well, the capital, see, and, Mary might chime in here. Dave Revit is our expert on this, and he feels that since you're now painting your last year was the capital improvement, when we sandblasted it and painted it on top of it, now it's a refurbishment and refreshment.
It wasn't done right?
No, it wasn't done right, Jeff.
Well,
So,
I disagree with that.
okay, and we even left it at the meeting that we would discuss the allocation of that money
Okay.
because of exactly what you said. If it were done right, and it were truly the second time, then that's maintenance.
understand.
We did discuss it, the moment, decision, and I'm not gonna make that decision, I'm gonna let somebody with some legal understanding of this.
Okay.
I'll give you this much, it's a strong possibility that we may take it. So again, we don't want to take everything, we're down at only 28,393, we'd like to have some of that with extra features too, so.
Well, your
It's gonna be
infrastructure and your painting stuff is your key ingredients.
Oh, absolutely.
To make it run.
Pool doesn't operate if you don't have
Yeah,
that.
if you don't, yeah, it's useless, sure,
Fundamental.
sure. But we had to do it.
Well, okay, let me be naive and ask you, the $2,000 additional, is that a one-time thing, or are you looking at that as
No, we
continuing
would then ask
for
it
the
forever
year
and ever.
From there on out?
Yeah.
Just wanted to
Yes.
get that out,
Yep.
Been $13,000 for
yeah,
about 2 years, and now it's up to 15.
And
What they requested.
I can also add that I know Suzanne has a lot of good ideas for the winter and the spring for advertising more, trying to get some more season ticket holders. I know I've seen her list, and she's got some good stuff.
Yeah, she was a
And I
huge
applaud
plus.
that. But what basically needs to be done is to try to figure out, and I'm sure that's what Suzanne's trying to do, how to create enough income to cover the operations, and the money that the Sellersville and West Rockhill donate goes for future capital equipment. And that's the way it should be run.
That's the way it should be run. Of course, that was the original intent of, at one time, it was $10,000. But,
One time it was zero.
Well, it's been 10,000 since I've known about it.
yeah, I don't know that it was ever zero. Things have changed significantly. This is my 10th year now. I believe the first year I went in, the season tickets were right around 500, 490. And now we've diminished all the way down to 292. Now, it's been a relatively steep fall because Percy was a big takeaway over there. But now it seems to be leveling off. And if this is the number, I think we can all see with $15,000, we can do some maintenance work, maybe some capital improvement, and that'll keep it running well. And we'll have an alternative. What we hear all the time is the fact that, ours is a country club type environment as opposed to that wild water park.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe most of the takeaway of the people has occurred over the 10-year period, and we've leveled off.
Can I ask you one other question regarding the funding of it? The authority is a body of its own. Has there been any thought from the authority, from the members of the authority, the board, to generate revenue on their own? Go out and fundraise or look for ways to bring in income on its own?
No, we had, a couple of years ago, we had a yard sale. I think we made like $40 or something like that.
No, I'm talking
He's
about
talking bigger than
thousands.
that.
Yeah, well, of course you were. We didn't know it. I think your yard sale does fairly well. I don't, I'm looking at uses in or.
Yeah, we do pretty good. We hold our own, make a couple $100.
Couple $100,
That's not a
yeah.
killer.
Not thousands.
That's
But
not
I
what
think
you need to
he's
run that.
talking.
Yeah, you have to understand,
You have to remember, it's all
we're-
volunteer.
we're talking about
But
100.
you volunteer, look at the fundraising you do for our September Fest.
Yes, I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make
Yeah.
with this situation here. You won't get money unless you go out and beat the street.
Yeah.
Kind of like we do with the September Fest. That'd be a prime example of that.
Yeah, but
It's harder and harder.
just to look at both sides, you understand that we got $146,000, $150,000 budget. What do you make at September Fest?
2,000.
Pardon?
23.
Or
This
2,300.
year.
Yeah,
This is
so you've been
three.
doing September Fest for decades.
20
But
years.
it's never meant to be a fundraiser. It's meant to give back to the township.
Right, but look at the effort that you go through to make 2,000.
Oh, yeah.
It would be,
Right.
when we're dealing with $146,000, $150,000 budget, 2,000 is nice, but,
It's not.
and look at the effort you go, and it's wonderful, it's well attended, gee, everyone. So, we'd have to come up with a,
I'm just asking
Yeah.
if there's been thought given to that.
I'm an engineer, I'm not a marketing guy.
Okay.
Sorry, though.
Any other questions?
I have none.
I have none.
If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept Jeff's report as presented. Thanks, Jeff.
I'll second.
Been offered a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Thank you, Jeff. Tax collector's report, Suzanne.
Okay, for the month of October, for annual taxes, I've collected $874.14, and for the 16 interims, $94.58 for the month of October, and that is it. I am getting closer to your budgeted amount, though.
Can I ask a question? The date for the last meeting was October 31st, right?
Correct, for school taxes.
School taxes.
County and
yes.
township taxes are currently in penalty.
Okay.
School taxes are the 31st.
And you have hours on Mondays or?
I have hour every Tuesday.
Okay, so you wouldn't have hours on the 31st?
31st Monday. I'm always usually here on the last day.
Okay.
I don't have posted hours,
But
but
Thursdays, right? Like the
I have a
Thursday
drop
before?
box out there that people can drop them off. It's not an issue, and they know I accept postmarks, so.
Okay,
Mhm.
very good, thanks.
And final notices will go out for school taxes in November for unpaid school taxes in face.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Suzanne?
No.
Okay, I'll put forward a motion to approve the report. Is there a second?
Yep. Second.
And second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Engineers report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have a couple items on the agenda which
The
Jeff
old
had
one.
talked about. Yeah, the one that we talked at the planning commission.
Huffnagel.
Huffnagel is the first one. We have Mr. and Mrs. Huffnagel are here tonight. Judy's gonna try to find a plan here so we can show it on the board. And we could give everyone a better idea of what you're proposing. There we go. So there we have, Tower Road is on the bottom of the plan. The private lane that was discussed is up the left-hand side of the properties. And the two properties being reconfigured are in the front there. They used to be side by side along Tower Road.
A quick question regarding that. How long is that from that Tower Road up to where that gets back to that big piece of property?
How long is the driveway?
Yes,
Yeah.
that access.
Do you know offhand, Mr. Huffman?
It's close to a quarter mile back to our house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the right-hand side that we're asking to create the lane is only 460 feet. Now, that's.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably about 1,200.
Okay, so now that's the left-hand side, not the one where you're creating the lane.
Yeah, that's where we're creating the lane, so it will not be lane lot. What is shown here is essentially the top lot is lane lot
Right.
without the private drive easement. So we've asked them on the left-hand side from Tower Road
Yes.
to create that 25-foot additional deeded piece of ground, so the back lot can't be lane lot.
Right, and that's what I asked, but I wanted to know how long that was. What's the distance from Tower Road to that piece of property?
Oh, I think it's 460, isn't it?
Well, the existing driveway is longer than what that new deeded lane will be. The 25-foot strip of land is only 450 feet.
Okay.
But the driveway is longer than that, just by the configuration of the driveway. And then
Okay.
the total length of the driveway goes past the property back to the Huffnagel's home, which is behind all of these lots. So they own a totally separate property
Yep.
in the back, and they own these two vacant properties that they're reconfiguring. Still don't propose to build any houses at this time.
No.
on
No,
the- on
you
the-
understand why I'm asking though. If somebody does build a house down the road, being able to have access, and if a car comes the other way, what's gonna happen?
Right,
Fire equipment.
right.
You know, with 25-foot wide access, you wanna make sure that you have enough space to build your, and I would assume you probably would put underground utilities back there. So you would need room for your utilities alongside your driveway, in the flag lots that I've seen developed.
Yeah. Well, the utilities now go up the existing driveway, right?
Yeah.
But would they serve the lot in the
They
back?
could serve the lot in the
They
back,
could. but
because there's two
what if-
houses in the
What
back.
if the owner of the lot in the front says, no, you're not going through my property?
No,
It's already
well,
there.
that easement is already exists,
Okay,
and they've amended the easement to specifically call out these two newly reconfigured lots.
that's important.
So they have, the two lots will have full rights to that private drive if they choose to use it. But as Jeff said, to make it a valid lot for zoning purposes, we'll add the 25-foot lane
Understand.
onto the lot, and they'll have frontage out to Tower Road, and they could use the access to Tower Road directly if that lot is ever sold and someone chooses to do that.
I'm just looking for the protection of the future property owner, if someone were to ever purchase it, that they would be able to get electric,
So
power,
both,
utilities.
both,
They did an amendment
Okay.
to the original driveway easement that their attorney sent me, and I reviewed it, and it's fine, and it provides for utilities.
Okay, good. Thank you.
so, both of the reconfigured lots will have direct access to Tower Road, and they'll also have rights to use the existing shared driveway.
Okay,
They'll have it from both angles.
good.
So the Huffnagels have agreed to change the plan to add that strip into the rear lot. And I spoke to your surveyor.
Right, that's been done.
The other
I
day.
just don't have the copy of it yet.
Right. Okay. Other than that, I think in your packet, there was a September 20th letter, and the other items are really drafting items and legal descriptions. So at this point, if you're comfortable with the plan, I think they would be at the point where you could authorize the solicitor to prepare an approval resolution for consideration at your next meeting.
And the approval resolution in addition, as I understand, in addition to the items set forth in your letter of September 20, 2016, would include a condition that the plan be amended to show a lane lot which complies with the zoning ordinance on the north side of the property.
Correct.
I'm comfortable with that, as long as that documentation's in there, so I would make a motion that we move forward with this.
Okay, have a motion, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. So for your purpose or benefit, the solicitor will prepare a draft of the approval letter, essentially approval letter. They do it by resolution. We'll get you a copy of that, and if you agree to those conditions as they're formally put out, and then at the next board meeting, they'll take the formal vote to approve it. And then we'll move on.
Okay.
Okay? The next item we have is the A&T building. We have a representative here tonight for that project.
Anyone?
Yep. Good evening, Scott McMacken with Cowan Associates. I'm the engineer for the project. And this, as Steve mentioned earlier in the meeting, this is a proposal for a new freestanding building located on the property. This is Bethlehem Pike here. This is the Subaru, A&T Subaru dealership across the street. Jeff, who's the owner, is not out of town on business tonight, but basically they're out of room over here on their existing facility, and they're having a lot of problems with service at Subaru currently. We did look at doing some possible expansions on their existing site, and there really wasn't a good way to accommodate it. They're kind of maxed out over there. So there's an existing old single-family dwelling located about in the center of the property with a residential driveway that comes down. Proposing to take that down, put in a freestanding, about 6,500 square foot building that will be used to accompany the business across the street. So this is not proposed to be any kind of a standalone or have any kind of public access or anything. This is basically any cars that are going to be serviced are still going to go to the existing Subaru dealership across the street. This will simply be used by the techs. They're gonna shuttle the cars over here and work on them and then shuttle them back. So there'll be no customer interaction, anything like that. They'll just be techs in this building that extra space basically to work on cars.
Will that be shown on the plan?
Yeah, I believe we have notes on the plan to that effect. We were in about 6 months ago to the Planning Commission with a very similar site layout. The only difference was, as we talked about, there was a driveway access that lined up with the driveway directly across the street. When we met with PennDOT, they had concerns about site distance looking to the north towards the signal. And there wasn't, they didn't believe there was enough adequate site distance for that driveway access. We took a look and met with PennDOT, and we did come up with a concept where we'd be putting the driveway down here at the southern end, where we'd have a little bit more site distance. But with that would require some variances and relief from Hilltown Township to make that happen. I'll step back. This is the municipal boundary. You got Hilltown Township down here, West Rockhill up here. So this site is located in 2 different townships. The driveway would have caused some zoning issues with some buffer yards and some grading and just a lot of work to put the driveway in there. So as we were developing this concept, this property, which is the used car dealership, became available to Jeff. And so he decided to purchase that property. And what that allows us to do is really just make a simple connection into the site so that we can utilize the existing driveway cuts on this property and access into the property and really be able to eliminate the residential driveway here and have no access along the frontage at all, which we think is kind of a win-win for everybody. So that's really the proposal before you. We did go to Hilltown Township. There's not many improvements in here, so we did get a land development waiver granted from Hilltown Township. There were some waivers for frontage improvements with the fee in lieu of and some other modifications. They did review stormwater because you know, basically this all drains down in this direction from north to south, so they took a look at the stormwater management and everything. And everything's been approved through Hilltown Township. And as was reported, we went to the Planning Commission last month, and they did recommend conditional, preliminary, and final approval for this project as well. We do have a review letter from Steve's office dated September 21st. There's a couple of waivers in that letter that we would be seeking, but other than that, everything in here is pretty straightforward and well complies.
I see you have parking spaces along the front of that property you're building,
Yeah.
building on.
Yeah.
Is that all gonna be level there? The concern is that you've got a pretty steep bank there, and if a car would break loose, go down there, could be a problem with
Yeah.
the pipe.
Yeah, this is fairly level. I mean, there is a little bit of slope down in this direction, you know, probably.
He's
you know,
talking about the parking spaces
About the
along
bank.
Bethel Pike, right there.
Along here?
Yep.
Yeah, these are pretty level. I mean, this is gonna be completely curved around the perimeter of the parking lot. So, you know, this is all around both the exterior and the interior. This is all gonna be curbing around the entire perimeter of the lot. But there is a little bit of fall from here to here, but it's generally, you know, the parking areas themselves are pretty flat.
But there's fall from the front end, from the.
Back of the parking spot to the road.
Parking
What are you
spots
gonna
to
do
the
about
road.
that?
You got 10 or 15 feet there at least, maybe more.
Well, the slope here,
Yeah.
we're not gonna change that. That slope's gonna remain. The edge of this parking lot's pretty much at the.
So you're just gonna
at the
have a
peak.
curb then to stop the cars from going over that bank?
Correct.
That's what you're asking.
Yeah, because you said it would be drop off where there is.
And there's no drop off from the actual parking place down toward Bullback.
No, these will be generally flat, and then once you get off the edge of the curb, you know,
Then it drops.
it drops off and you have that bank, but we're not gonna be touching that bank.
Yeah, that's what, when we started to talk about this earlier, the existing bank doesn't get changed at all.
No, not with this
So the-
layout.
You understand what our
Existing
concern
bank
is though?
is-
Our concern
the new
is the
parking lot
car
being on
going
the
over
side.
that bank and into that highway.
Absolutely.
That's our concern.
Yeah, I think, you know, we're gonna have a full 8-inch high curb here, so I don't think,
And there's
How big is
shrubs and plantings along that, there's shrubs and planting along that parking lot edge also. Would be the curb and then there'll be all the plantings,
yeah.
separating the parking lot from where the embankment is.
Is that high enough, 8 inches? For
Yeah, that's
a
a standard curb height.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about with the
Equal.
slope, with the slope that goes down to the road like that.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, in this circumstance and it being on the backside of parking spaces, I don't think you need guide rail. I mean, that would be your next alternative. If there were an active driveway on that side,
Okay.
or, you know, lanes going in that direction, I don't see the,
Well, that's why I'm asking you. I just see that there could be a potential concern there of a car going down over that bank into the roadway. That's what I want to
That
protect
breaks
from
loose
happening.
and-
I really don't see
Suggest
it.
you have something to consider.
Okay. We can look at it, but I think with an 8-inch curb, you need to have some
Right.
velocity to get
Understand.
over that, so.
You do know though, when they pile snow, sometimes they pile snow to that and then you don't see the curb in the wintertime.
True.
Just something for you to think about.
Okay.
Okay, you can move forward.
There are, as I mentioned, there's a couple of waiver requests that we have requested. One is regarding the frontage improvements, similar to what we requested from Hilltown Township. There's limited frontage in West Rockhill, so it's about 40 feet here, but we would be requesting relief from the widening and the curbing and the storm sewer and those frontage improvements for the road, and we would just request a fee in lieu of those road improvements. You know,
I think that's acceptable. We have to work it out with the township manager and engineer on that.
yeah.
that acceptable? Okay.
Right. Yeah,
We don't have the same issue with curving up that we granted waiver
No.
for on the other side of the road.
right, that was a mistake we made, but unfortunately,
Because it was first in line.
Okay.
Next,
Are you
Good.
reviewing the Win letter or your letter?
well, I'm just actually going from Steve's
Steve's
letter,
letter.
but
Right, and I don't know if you mentioned it, Hilltown granted a similar waiver
they did, yes.
in,
That's
Their portion.
good to know, because we don't want to be, if they would have required improvements, then we got to match that.
right,
Right,
and they did
Because
not.
this site's in both two towns.
that is correct, yes,
Take your word.
yes.
there was no reason to put it on. Yeah, just make it, and whatever.
Right.
The next request is from proposed parking area. Distance back from the ultimate right-of-way, the ordinance requires a 15-foot setback, and we're showing a 10-foot setback. Basically for these 3 parking spaces, we did have that, Hilltown Township has the same requirement in their ordinances, and we did get a waiver from them for this section of the parking lot, so we asked them for a waiver for this section of the parking lot.
The road elevation, the elevation where the parking is, that's 10 feet is pretty close to that. I mean, you're right on the edge of the bank.
The bank stops sort of right on the right-of-way line, so it gets, you got a steep bank that comes up to about this point, and then pretty much levels off when you get up top there. And it's probably, you probably have maybe 6 foot, 7 foot here. It gets even steeper as you get down here. It's probably 10 feet vertical from the road elevation up to the top here, and it tapers down. You probably have about, just probably a 6 foot elevation difference.
What's it do with not having the waiver, the 5 foot setback? What's that do to the site?
Well, basically, it kind of pinches us back in here in terms of getting the, getting.
More parking spots, what you're saying?
What's that?
It eliminates the amount of parking.
It would probably eliminate, yeah, it would probably eliminate 1 or 2 of these parking spots, and it would, get this driveway coming, a little bit more of a swing to it.
Okay, I don't really see a problem with it.
You said you already had a waiver
From Hilltown,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for
so
some.
we're talking, what, 3 parking spots up there?
correct.
Well, actually, yes, you are. Yeah, but 4, 3.5, 4.
Yeah.
I don't see that as a problem.
The next waiver is a requirement for reforestation of a parking lot area. There's a requirement for small trees to be planted around, and we have some, but we have a limited area in West Rockhill Township. We do have more area down in Hilltown Township that we could plant the trees, but it wouldn't be credited for West Rockhill. So we're asking for a partial waiver from that. So whatever we can't physically fit on the site, we're going to put as many as we can on the site. But whatever we can't fit on the site, we're asking for a fee in lieu of, and then the township can utilize those.
Well, that's what I was going to suggest, because we do that, we've done that before.
Fee in lieu of, or we planted in another location?
Either one, fee in lieu of to equal value, or planning another.
I guess it was, with that was the question. Do you want a fee in lieu, or do you want to plan it, do you have another place to put them?
Before you answer that question,
Right, I'm thinking about it.
under this requirement, these aren't 2.5-inch caliper street trees. These are reforestation trees, which are small
Small.
trees, which we do a lot of trees in a small cluster and try to let it grow up naturally. So I don't know that they're the type of trees that you want to
Yeah.
plant in the park.
And
They're
that's
not
what,
good
I kind of was thinking towards the park, but I don't think it was applied there. I think the fee in lieu might be the better way
I
to
don't
go.
think so too, yeah.
Make it keep it cleaner, so
Yeah,
reduce the amount of work we have to do.
okay.
And the last one is for the, it's the material for the storm sewer pipe on the property, the requirements for reinforced concrete pipe, and we're proposing the high-density polyethylene pipe for the storm sewer system.
What size?
18-inch. We have some pipes running down here to capture the storm water, and then we have an underground detention facility underneath the parking lot. And we're proposing that all to be
We have done that
polyethylene.
for private systems.
Right.
This is commercial.
Yeah. It's gonna, you got a parking lot.
Oh, it still meets,
Type
the
structurally.
strength requirements in PennDOT.
I realize that.
Covered
Is
strength.
18 inches big enough or should it be 2 foot?
Oh, no, 18 inches is enough. There's not that much water on this property,
Yeah.
to be frank. It's not a large
Well, it would be
property.
the water coming from the other property too as well, right? From up north.
They take into account the amount of water that comes from offsite.
Yeah.
No, the 18 inches is adequate.
Okay.
They did calculations that we've reviewed, and that's adequate.
How do you feel, Jim?
No, I'm okay with it. I think Steve is telling us that we probably look into that. We've got the stormwater covered, I
Okay.
think it's fine.
2 people agree? There was another, in item number 2 on Steve's letter, the planning commission should determine if the additional line striping should be required. What is the condition there?
That was a general comment, maybe Scott, you could show.
Yeah, I
The
think.
question was, does it need to be demarcated any different up in the existing used car parking lot where they're gonna be entering to find your way into this facility?
It probably should, shouldn't it?
Well, I think, we are bringing the curbing up and around and tying in with radii here for the curb, so I think, you're gonna, with it being curbed, I think that's gonna be,
I think
when I was designing, that was kind of demarcation, I mean.
And
we
you
can-
proposed the painted island
Employees.
next to
It's
the.
not public anyway, you're really using employees to transport those vehicles over there.
Right, right. I mean, if we wanted to paint something, we certainly could. I mean, this is basically all asphalt, and these are straight parking spaces here. I could put some paint markings. I didn't think it was necessary, but we certainly could put something if you feel it is.
I really just, I didn't have a specific, thought that something specifically done. I wanted to bring it up as a discussion point, so we all understood where the cars were entering and exiting the.
Well, I would be concerned about it if the public was driving back there, but since you said
Right.
that the employees were taking it back, I don't really have an issue with that.
Right.
So no condition? Is that what?
For me,
I don't have.
Yeah.
And everything else in the letter is generally outside agency approvals, which we've secured most of those. Health Department, Telford Authority, MPDS, all those outside agencies we have no problems with, and then the legal, the agreements and easements and security and all those issues, which we have no problem with either.
No, I might just want to make sure I understand everything in Steve's letter because I have to write it out.
okay,
Nobody's sitting here to ask when I write it out.
that's that.
No, I got it.
Okay,
So I'm directed to do it,
I'll make a motion. You direct
well, you
me.
know, you just tell me.
Okay.
Make a motion.
That's all.
I didn't tell you.
Yeah. I'll second motion, okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, next on my agenda is just the plan status list that should be in your packets, and I don't believe there's anything requiring action, so that's all I have to report unless there's any questions.
I did want to ask you one question.
Yep.
The Fedegari property, the piece that comes out on Mill Road, can you give me the address of that? Do you know that?
I do not know the address.
That-
Is
I'll
the
get it
Walker,
for you.
Thank
is
you.
the Walker property.
I think it might be.
Is it really?
It might, yeah.
What is it?
It was,
Dorothy Walker?
yeah,
Yeah, the-
Dottie Walker, yeah.
The TMP is noted on the
Okay.
in the planning commission.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
Cold recently.
I'll paint you front.
Yeah, they didn't purchase it yet, they have it under agreement, and
Okay.
they're doing their due diligence on how they want to proceed.
I'm sure they wouldn't purchase it completely until they knew they could do what they want to do, right?
I would assume so.
Okay, anything else, Steve?
I do not have anything.
Okay, entertain a motion for approval. Did you report?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Let's have it, thank you, Steve. Solicitor's report.
Hi, the only thing under the solicitor's report this evening is, at Greg's request, I drafted an ordinance prohibiting parking on the east side, I'm sorry, my allergies are terrible, east side County Line Road. Really, it's supposed to be
Part of
along
Landis.
Landis's, but that's hard to describe in an ordinance.
Sure.
So it's from the township boundary to Wellington Circle, you can't park.
Good.
So if the ordinance is in your packet, if that's something you want to proceed with, I can advertise it for the next meeting.
Well, as we all know, we've had many complaints about people parking over there where the lines are striped. And since we don't have an ordinance in place, we can't cite them. So that is the reason why we are providing this ordinance, so that we control that situation. Where there should not be any parking, but people are using it as parking. If you're familiar with the front of Landis, you know what I'm talking about. The police have been out there numerous times, and I know that people have contacted Greg here at the township numerous times. It seems to be properties from across the road, Montgomery County, that are utilizing that for parking.
Yeah, for years. Greg, does the ordinance include signage?
Well, we'll have to put up the sign.
Okay.
Once the ordinance is
Make sure
passed, our public works will go out.
Okay, we entertain a motion for advertising this ordinance. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Moving second, any more discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you, and that's all I have this evening, unless you have questions for me.
Only executive session. Okay?
I make a motion to approve the solicitor's report.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Mr. Lippincott, Township Manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll go over the emergency services report for September 2016. Sellersville had a total of 24 calls, 10 of which were in West Rockhill Township. The Sellersville 309 bypass had 3 calls, 3 of which were in West Rockhill Township. Telford had 25 calls, 3 of which were in West Rockhill Township. They did not have any on 309. Collegeport had 17 calls, 1 of which were in West Rockhill Township. And Trumbarsville had 48 calls, 8 of them in West Rockhill Township. Any
Okay.
questions?
Anybody have any questions on that?
That's a lot.
The next item is the building and zoning report for September 2016. The township received $11,540.17, bringing the grand total to $66,303.95. We also have a list of public funds.
So we come up about 90,000 short.
Well, we still have, we've been busy with permits in the last month. So
Not $90,000.
we're not going to make it, no. We are not going to make it. But
Well, we had a couple projects that we were anticipating that actually pulled out.
oh, sure.
You know, the Caroline Hill property there, that was.
That's why we budgeted.
That's major money, that was major money.
We would have made it if they started.
We would have beat it, yes.
Oh, we would have beat it,
We would have beat it.
but they didn't start.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go over the general fund ending September 30th, 2016. General fund 305, 269.29. Highway aid 119, 853.27. Open space 724, $110.25. The park fund $10,135.29. The equipment fund $45,069.63. Highway capital $123.87. The street light $33,637.66. 66. General fund $434,240.56. The open space Manderfield $50,654.88. Escrow funds $355,420.15. And the open space Durstein fund $24,095.60.
Okay, any questions on the treasurer's report?
I have none, Joe.
If not, I put forth a motion for approval, all subject to audit, including the payment of bills as presented.
I'll second it.
Been moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
The next item is the Public Works Report. Maintenance performed on township roads, mowed Median House Quarry, Lonely Roads, Clymer, Lawn Avenue, Keystone Drive, and Old Bethlehem. Finished ditch work on Augustine Road. We wiped intersections, cut out the old C-top on Keystone Drive, repaired the road, seeded the topsoil, dug out clogged cross pipe on Shoecraft Road, replaced various signs at the traffic light at intersections to become PennDOT compliant. J&J Arbor cleaned up a downed tree on Thousand Acre Road, in the intersection at County Line and Ridge Road, monthly inspections of cross pipes, culverts, and grades.
The debris and stuff in the ditch on Goldman Road, is that taken care of yet? Down at the bottom there, that I identified?
It should have been, I'll make sure.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any questions, Jim?
No questions.
Well, I see something there that, resignation of Bobby Miller there. That's our part-time guy, right?
He's our longtime part-timer. He used to be here full-time part-time, and then he would only come in for snow plowing emergencies. He now has a full-time job down at the County Operations Center, which makes it impossible for him to snow plow for us. That's all he came in. I just wanted to announce his resignation and ask the board's permission to advertise for another part-timer for snow plowing.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it also.
I make a motion to approve.
Well, should we be looking for more than one part-timer as needed, or do you have enough?
I'll take as many as I can get. In a
Yeah,
snowstorm.
We don't pay for part-timers unless we use them.
Right. I think you should. I think last year we talked about getting a second one, and we never did, really. 'Cause-
Yeah, I reached out to a couple of people.
Dale was.
If we can get a couple on hold like that, I think it'd be a good thing to do.
All right.
Just my opinion.
Yeah, no, you got it. No, Don made a motion.
Okay, you made a motion, I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next item is, there's a resolution in your packet to adopt the Bucks County 2016 Hazard Mitigation Plan. Every couple of years, the county updates the mitigation plan. A copy of it is in your folder, it's not in this packet. If the board would like, you can approve this resolution. You did it back in 2012, the last time you updated.
Steve, can you give us a quick overview of what the changes are?
I have no idea.
No idea.
What they do is they update where some of the flood hazards are, where there's hazards and known hazards. In West Rock Hill, the biggest known hazard is snowstorms.
Yeah.
And we don't have many flooding issues where people will have bridges or that. They identify them throughout the county. So it doesn't really affect any changes in West Rock Hill. However, we adopt the countywide plan.
Okay.
For all
I believe we got that today, it was 344 pages or something.
It's 344 pages for the entire.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I got through part of it, I didn't see anything for West Rock Hill.
There isn't much, because we're identified mainly as storms. We're identified, our hazards are hurricanes, snowstorms.
Right.
Yeah.
We have flooding issues, but it doesn't flood where there's infrastructure.
Okay. So I guess I'll make a motion that we go ahead and let you update. or accept.
Okay,
Next resolution is 2016 days.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's how,
Also in your
that's how
packet,
your tax money gets spent, 383 pages.
344.
I reviewed all.
the next is a yearly thing. Every year we have to present the anticipated MMO for 2017. For 2017 is $49,140, which is the municipal minimum obligation for the pension fund. There's no action needed, it just needs to be recorded in your minutes that I informed you.
Okay, thank you.
And the last item is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the Maysville Quarry meeting will be held December 5th, 2016 at the Tylersport Fire.
At what time?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. The 5th, December.
The 5th of December.
Monday.
It's a Monday.
That'll be on the website as well.
That will be on the website as well. And all the forms, the entire application is on the website. So if anybody's interested in reviewing the entire application, it's on the website.
What about 300 pages?
Okay.
It's a lot of, it's a lot of pages, a lot of maps, a lot of.
Is that thick? 8 inches thick at least.
And if you don't have the internet, we do have the file here for you guys, for anybody to review, but it's up on the website.
Anything else, Rich?
That's all I have.
Okay. Old business next on the agenda. Either gentleman have any more?
Go approve the manager's report.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I'll make a motion, we approve the manager's report.
I'll second.
Thank you.
So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Thanks, Steve.
I had one thing on old business, Mr. Chairman. That
Okay.
was the Ridge Road. As most of you know, they were gonna repave the Ridge Road, but I've been informed it's gonna be pushed off probably till spring because there were some changes made by PennDOT. And the issue with the drainage pipes out at the Womble Farm were not fixed in time. We're already here at the end of October. So I was told it'll be one of the first ones on the list for spring, and it will be repaved from Natesville to Park Avenue, which is over there in Perkins East
And
Rockhill.
it's being repaved in East Rockhill too.
Is it?
Yeah. It's on that list. We have a
Okay.
list of about
Yeah.
40, at least 40 sites or locations that are going to repave, and they had, I don't know if they identify the exact timing, but,
Yeah, they did, the actual timing says fall of this year.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get it.
No, they're not gonna.
But did they definitely identify they're gonna do beyond Park Avenue?
yeah, it's East Rockhill portions
There are,
in that plan.
I think there's
Park
other
Avenue is
locations in
East
East
Rockhill.
Rockhill. I
Okay.
don't know if it's Ridge Road, but there's a whole.
Yeah, it's,
there-
I looked at it.
There's 40.
Okay, good.
40 different.
I was hoping it would be, but
Yeah, they would do the whole thing.
great.
Over all that for 313.
How about, well, we don't know if 313. I was thinking about, or questioning the hill there at 313 from Fifth Street up. It's so washboarded from bumps, you know, that should be
You're talking on 313?
Yes,
Yeah, I didn't see that on
okay.
the agenda.
Well, that was the old business item I had.
Okay,
It's a 5-year, it's a 5-year plan.
Okay, that's the one that you emailed us.
That's the one I emailed
Okay.
too, so.
I got it.
It's very small to read. It's
I didn't look
very
at it
hard.
yet.
almost impossible.
I have something which I think is old business. After a 2-year discussion, back in February, we passed the fire department reimbursement ordinance. And I said at that time, I thought we should review it in 6 months.
Mhm.
Our 6 months is up, and I think we need to review that to see if there's any changes we need to make it a little more easier for the fire departments to submit their information. In my mind, having them submit something every time there's a fire, or they put in for reimbursement, it's just too much work. I really believe it's too much work. And I think if we set up a quarterly review, not even a review, just have the fire departments list on a quarterly basis the monies that they got back in a report or something like that. I don't know if
Well, they only have to do that if it's over $1,000.
and only if it's over $1,000. I just think that's a much cleaner approach in my mind for all the fire departments in the area. And I know we should make a change to the ordinance, but
We had our annual meeting with the fire companies, 4 fire companies last night, and that was one of the many items we discussed, and they were able to show us their records in terms of what they do and how they do it. And the bottom line is, when they submit to the company that submits the ultimate invoice to the homeowner or the insurance company, they don't have any pricing on it. They don't do the pricing, which is kind of surprising, but they have to wait till they see their copy of what gets sent to the company. So it's a real challenge they have a lot of, this one young man said he spends, after a fire, he spends full time just recording those type of things. So the bottom line is, we talked, and as they understand our ordinance, and I think that's what we need to do, is have Greg reevaluate that ordinance in terms of what is the type of information he wants that we need for a paper trail. So,
And I think I just want to make a change from one thing you said, Don. You said as they interact with the homeowner and the insurance company, it's always with the insurance company. The homeowner's never involved. This is a separate fund that's kept by the insurance company that's already coming out of your account or already coming out of your payments. And it's, if they don't get it back, the money just sits there and it never gets used. And I'm glad they're getting it back. I just want to make it as easy as possible for them to get it back without us interfering with it.
I shared that view last year.
Yeah.
So I would agree that we should probably revisit the ordinance as you requested.
Okay.
Okay?
Good, thank you. Okay, that's all I had.
okay, any new business? Hearing none, we'll proceed. Public comment, please state your name and address, and comments, questions, whatever. Yes, sir.
Ibby Shermer, 1805 Ridge Road. Last year, you gave $1,000 to the Park and Rec because of the dinner being held over at the park, and I wondered if you did consider that again this year.
That wasn't only because for the dinner being held at the park, that was for the 20th year anniversary as well, okay?
This special.
However, I failed, I said I was gonna bring that up and I forgot about that because I didn't write it down. I feel that the board should allocate some funds to the Park and Rec Fund, as if we were gonna have that dinner at the Tyler Ford Fire Hall or Sellersville or wherever, just like we would pay them. I feel that whatever it is, $200-300, I don't know what we pay.
What do we typically,
It's hard to say, I have to prep, but I know it's less than $500.
Could we find that information out for next month?
Sherry can.
Less than $500.
Yeah, can you find that out and then we can act on it next month? But thank you for bringing it up, reminding me, I totally forgot about that, I'm sorry.
Whatever you'll give us, we appreciate. I mean, it's within the family budget anyhow.
Right, it's all the same budget, so.
Yeah.
But
Okay?
Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Conlon.
David Collin with Barn Road. As you plan for the budget in 2017, I think you need to look at the house across the street that's been empty since 2011. But I know there's some repair estimates that need to be done over there. Because I think that building, like all the other buildings in the township that are rental properties, that building should be used for something.
Okay.
And also the barn, he gives an estimate from a contractor in April to finish the gable ends.
Right.
These are things that I think need to be considered for the budget for 2017.
Well, a budget maker, I'm sure that both of those need considerations. And I would agree with your view on it. It's time to move it forward, wherever it goes. Anybody have any comments, questions, critiques? Quiet crowd tonight. Good. Just had a good dinner. Okay. Nothing more. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment for executive session.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, so moved. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.